I'm about to do my makeup, and I just put in some fresh colors in my palette, and I thought I would kind of explain what I have in here, what it's used for, and how I can do pretty much my full face with this. This is going to be my whole face, but yet it's still minimal products. You can get bigger palettes, you can get tons of eyeshadows, lip and cheek options, whatever you want. But if you're looking just for some basic things for your full face, this is a great way to go. And so I'll explain what these are, and all of these are included in the Black Friday sale. They range from 10 to 50% off everything in here, even the brushes. So I'm going to tell you what all we're doing as I put it on. Just to explain what is in here, this is going to be my foundation colors. They're called highlights. Seint calls them highlights, but this is going to be your foundation that you're going to get your coverage with. So this one is my main color. It's going to be closest to my skin tone. You can tell it looks a little bit dark. These are super pigmented. They're going to blend out a little bit lighter on the skin. You're not going to use as much as you think. So even though this looks dark, it's going to blend out lighter. So just know that when you see some of the colors online, or if you see something in your palette and you think it's way too dark, just know it's going to be a lot lighter in person. And then this is a couple of shades lighter. This is going to be similar to a concealer color. I'm going to brighten up the center of my face, kind of around my eyes. If you need color correction under your eyes, if you have dark under eye circles or other issues, you can get another color like a cream corrector or something else to correct that first. But when I match you, I'm always going to give you at least 2 highlight shades. Moving on, this is the contour. This is what we're going to use to give some dimension to the face. Our face is not one dimension, so why should our makeup be? That's why it's called 3D makeup. So this is going to give kind of that sculpted out cheekbone and wherever else you like to contour. And then this is my cream bronzer. This one has a little bit of a shimmer to it, but not all of them do. This one is going to be my blush. It can also go as a lip color. And then this is my illuminator, which is what you would say is a typical highlighter that's going to give you that extra shimmery glow. But these are creams as well, so they're not quite as it's not super flashy like a powder illuminator might be. So this is my 6 colors up top that I'm going to use, and then I'm also using one more that's going to be my lip color. These are all lip and cheeks. You can use them interchangeably as blush or lip color, but this one is a little bit glossier, whereas the one on the top layer is more of a satin. So I prefer to use the satin as my blush and the glossy colors on my lips. This right here is the feather blotting dust, I think is what it's called. It's fairly new. It's a newer powder. I love this. If you like to use a little bit of powder, it has a little bit of a hint of a glow to it, not super glittery or anything like that, but it gives just enough to give you that little bit of a glow back to your skin without mattifying things too much. And I don't like a super matte look, so this is the perfect formula, I feel like. So, and then right here I have 3 eyeshadows that are just kind of basic everyday eyeshadows, so I'm going to show that look as well. And then you can see I have more room in here for extra eyeshadows and extra blush color or whatever else I want to add to it. And then this is just one of several different sizes that you can choose from. But when I color match you and build a palette, I'm usually building around this size, so you can have a little extra room to grow, but then you can add in, but you can also have all of your makeup that you are looking for to get a full face routine. I'm prepping my skin with the Plush Prep Mist. This came out over the summer, and I use it every day since. So you could technically kind of use it as a setting spray, but it's meant to be sort of a primer for your skin. Kind of helps hydrate and kind of plump things up a little bit and get it ready for your makeup. And I just love the way it makes my makeup set. So so you can let it dry if you want to, but honestly, what I like to do is just, while it's still a little bit wet on my skin, go ahead and start getting into my makeup. So I'm going to dip into my contour first. I'm going to show you, this is just the way, if you were doing 1 layer makeup, how you can get it done. Now, if you prefer to do it like traditional foundation, you can put your main highlight all over if you would like to, but this way it keeps less product on the skin and still gives you that 3-dimensional look. Okay, so I'm going in with the detail brush, and I'm going under my cheekbones, along the sides of my forehead, and then just kind of right up underneath my jawline. And I'm stopping about here from my eye as far as my cheekbone, and then I stop at about right here on my jaw. And then blend it down. So I like to get it on there, and then I'll blend it out. All right, so we're gonna move on and come back and blend the rest of this in a minute. I'm gonna go into my lighter highlight color, and I'm gonna brighten up around my eyes. So I'm doing all this first, and then I'm going to go in with my main shade. So this shade is just probably 2 shades lighter than my main color. You can get something even lighter if you want a bright pop, but I have found that even just a couple of shades lighter is just enough to give me what I'm looking for to brighten things up and just cover up a little bit of darkness there. But like I said, you can always get a color corrector if you feel like you need something more. So this color is mainly just to kind of brighten up the center of the face. Now we're looking kind of crazy, I'm going to switch brushes. This was the detail brush. I did the broom flat side for contour, the small side for my brightening highlight. So now I'm going to move into my main highlight, and I'm going to switch to the 3D brush, and I'm going to use the bottom side of it. So I'm just going to dip right in here. All right, so I'm going to go in and just start working this color around the contour just to kind of keep things in that single layer of product. And I like to do it this way. For one, you use less product, and then you'll get to see where you might need to go back and add a little bit more for touch up once you get everything blended out. So I'm just kind of stippling this on the skin. You don't want to drag and pull. Just kind of like bouncing the brush and pressing, and then just moving that around to slightly blend. And we'll go back and do a final blend as well. And you can also apply your makeup. I do some videos where I'm using like a really small brush like this one and apply everything in dots. So that is an option as well. Sometimes that's easier for beginners. And then go in and blend. Now I'm going to go back in with the flat side of the detail brush and start blending that contour. And I'm just brushing it up. You don't want to drag the contour down because we're trying to give some lift to the cheekbones. And then same thing, I just kind of press it around and then lift up. And then with the contour up here, just blend it down this way and then work it up into the hairline. So there's no harsh lines anywhere. You can kind of blend that down a little bit. It's just kind of like a V shape is what I'm doing here. And then up on this side. Another little trick, if you want to clean up the edges of your contour or sharpen it up, you can take what's left of your brush on that smaller side where we did that brightening shade, and you just kind of run your brush like this, and it just kind of helps clean up that line a little bit, and then blend it out. Because I didn't use any extra product, I just used what was left on the brush, which is not a lot. All right, so I think we're pretty good and blended. I'm going to check my mirror, but now we're going to add a little bit of bronzer and a little bit of blush. I'm going to show you just the blush first. So this is Frenchie. This is one of my very favorite colors, and it's just a soft peachy pink. I'm going to put this on so you can see what it looks like without the bronzer. I always recommend a bronzer. I love them even in the wintertime, even if I'm not very tanned. It just adds a little bit of warmth and life to the skin, even if I am very fair. So I'm going to go in, probably going to use my blush and bronzer brush, which is good for all the blending things. And then same thing I was doing with the brush before, just pressing and bouncing it on the skin to blend in. We're not going to drag and pull. Okay, and then same over here. And same thing with the blushes being super pigmented. That's a very soft pink, and I just used a little bit. There's some pretty bold lip and cheek colors that are so pretty on the skin, so don't let those scare you if you see them being super dark online, because they can blend out to be such pretty colors. All right, for bronzer, you can use the smaller side of the brush or the big fluffy side, or you can use your finger, whatever you want to do. I'm going to take just the big fluffy side and add just a tiny bit of bronzer and dust it along my forehead down into the cheek. You can take it across your nose a little bit, just wherever you want to get a little extra warmth. And I also like to run it on my neck a little bit if I just kind of bridge any gap. You know, your face and your neck and your chest are usually not always the same color. So I like to have bronzer for that as well. And then same thing when I was adding that lighter color right here, that's also going to bridge any gap as well. If you need a darker color for more coverage up here in the cheek area, but your neck is lighter, you can kind of bridge that gap with a lighter color, or you can add a little bit of bronzer to your neck. So there's always options. So I use the big fluffy side just to kind of help spread that out lightly and just kind of dust it along here. All right, let's do lips real quick because I feel like my lips are looking kind of crazy with all this. I'm gonna take, this is a small brush, and I'm gonna go back into my contour and line my lips just kind of underneath. Just to give a little definition. And this is the Etch brush. It's really good for detail around the eyes too. All right, and then we're gonna go to the second layer and get that other lip and cheek color. This is Boardwalk. Just a light, neutral, nude pink color. All right, we're gonna go in with a little bit of powder. I'm taking a small, lightly, I guess this is the shape brush. This is kind of a light coverage brush, and I love it for powder. And I'm using a variety of brushes, but you can definitely do a lot with just 1 or 2 brushes, or if you have something at home you wanna try. I will say the brushes for the creams, they're made specifically for creams. You do need a brush that is dense enough to be able to blend those out. But if you have another brush to add a little powder or whatever, that would be great too. So I'm just gonna go in and press this around in a few areas. Tap off the excess, a little bit on the forehead. And then we'll add our eyeshadows. And I wanted to be able to show you what the illuminator does. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this. This is rose gold. I like to put a little bit on the center of my nose, and we'll blend it out. And then a little bit on the top of the cheekbones. And then a little bit on my Cupid's bow. I'll take my brush and just lightly blend. So the light is going to catch it when it hits the side of your cheek, right there. So it just adds a little extra glow in a few places. You can also put it right underneath your arch of your brow as well. All right, let's move on to eyes. I have shared before that I never go without my eyeshadow primer. This one is from Thrive. I also use Thrive's tubing mascara. They are just my top faves. So I just put a little bit on. This is gonna prevent my eye makeup from creasing when the hood starts slamming down on top of my lid. And then just rub it in with my finger. And then we will add those few eyeshadows just for an everyday neutral look. All right, for this eyeshadow look, I'm gonna use Seint's eyeshadow brush. This is also on sale. All the brushes are 30% off and through tomorrow. And this has a fluffy side and it has a small smudgier side. So I'm gonna take the fluffy side first, and this is Chai. I'm gonna take this shade first, and this is gonna be my all over color. It's just a nice, soft, neutral brown. You can use it completely by itself if you want. I'm gonna lift up my eyelid and kind of get on the eyelid as well. And I'm doing a little bit of a windshield wiper motion, but with hooded eyes, I don't want to drag it far down. So I'm focusing that right here. And then I'll just take it out a little bit and sweep it out sideways, but not too far downward. Almost like a straight line out towards the outer tail of my brow. Okay. Flipping to the small smudgy side, I'm gonna go into Cafe. And I'm gonna build up this outer corner a little bit. So I sweep it up from the outer edge, and you can see where like I have this, you know, fold that comes down. So we're gonna get in there, don't worry. But I start out like this, bring it over and down on the lower lash line. Normally I put Chai all the way around, down all the way down too, but we'll just do a little bit of this Cafe down here. So I'm kind of using this as my guide to go up and then over.